Hey YouTube, Not So Slim Jim coming to you with another video because today is a good day. Today is September 1st, 2021. Today is a day that I am dubbing Texas Freedom Day. Now today is a day that a whole bunch of new bills and laws go into effect that were passed recently in the Texas Supremes, the Congress, the House, the Senate. All the new bills that were voted on go into effect. Now, there's three in particular that I am very fond of. One is the Texas Freedom Bill, Texas Suppressors Freedom Bill, and that's right, constitutional carry is finally passed in Texas. A bill that open carry Texas has been fighting for 8 years now. Something that we've been pushing. People have been arrested. People have been injured. People have been thrown in jail for, finally has become law. People can now carry without having to have a license to carry in the state of Texas. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over these bills. Now, if you want to know more details about all these, I have videos. Just go ahead and look. They're on my channel, and I've got more detail. But let's go over the basics of these three great bills that go into effect today. Now, first, we have the Texas Freedom Bill. This separates federal law from state law. So now, in the state of Texas, any federal gun law that is greater than the state gun law is now null and void. Now, to an extent, it can still be prosecuted because obviously the federal government still has the supremacy clause in the Constitution. So if the FBI or ATF wants to, spend enough money to track you and find you doing something that they deem to be illegal, they can still arrest you and take you to federal court for it. But the big thing is the fact that state officers, that would be police officers, sheriff's officers, DPS, rangers, and so on, are not supposed to arrest you or charge you with any federal crime that is greater than that there of a state crime. Now, if a state officer does do that, it can actually result in the removal of their department's physical budget for the next year. So there are penalties for officers who do that and their entire department. Now, we'll see if that actually sticks because obviously we have socialist anti-gun DAs like down in Austin that really don't care about gun laws. They really don't care because they think, well, we get enough money from our tax revenue. We don't need money from the state. Whatever we want. So you got to be careful in those more liberal cities. Now, the second one is the Texas Suppressor Freedom Bill. So if you want to get cool little things like this, which is nothing more than a muffler for a gun. Now this, YouTube, ATF is legal. I have a NFA tax stamp for this. This is legal. Everything is fine on this. If you want to get something as simple as a piece of metal with some baffles in it that don't make your gun more deadly. In fact, it makes your gun slightly less accurate at further distances. Slightly slows down your bullet. It just makes it so it's not ridiculously loud when you're at the range, so it doesn't reduce your ability to hear over long periods of time. In fact, if you go to most countries in Europe, it's actually rude to shoot a firearm at a range without having a suppressor. It is considered to be rather rude. So if you want to make one of these here in the state of Texas, or if you want to purchase one, as far as I know, I've called around quite a bit, and I haven't found any companies that are willing to sell ready-to-use suppressors without having a tax stamp here in the state of Texas. There may be one or two out there. I just haven't found them myself. And I've talked to a few FFL dealers about whether or not they'd be willing to sell suppressors without a tax stamp if they're made in the state of Texas, and every single one of them said no because obviously the ATF is going to crack down on if they do. Now, if there is a business that doesn't have a federal firearms license, they could sell what we call solvent traps. And we all know what solvent traps are for. Now, speaking of solvent traps, I've been actually looking around for companies that are based in Texas because you don't actually have to have the solvent trap based in Texas, which you can watch my video talking about the legality of these. But if you want to get one made in Texas, I actually found a really cool company called Tell Outfitters. Yeah, Tell Outfitters. Paul is a guy who owns the company. Nice guy. Spoke to him very briefly. He was on a way out to a hunting trip. But they have a nice selection of reasonably priced solvent traps that you can pick up. All K-baffles, and they come in different sizes, different degrees, little 3D printed jigs for making sure you keep your solvent collection traps in place when you're cleaning them properly. And they come, like I said, stainless steel and titanium. But the greatest part is the threading on them is able to adapt to the standard threading of most quick detach muzzle device units. So that way, if you want to clean your rifle real quickly, you don't have to worry about unscrewing your muzzle device and screwing the solvent trap on for cleaning out with your patches and everything. You can just use your standard muzzle device without having to take everything off. If you want to use your ACR, your cherry bomb from Q or any of that stuff, it's able to adapt to their quick detach units, so that way you can go ahead and use your standard stuff for cleaning your rifle without having to disassemble it. So Tell Outfitters, great little place. They're on back order right now because obviously things have been pretty popular here lately. People getting ready for today for being able to clean their rifles in a quick and efficient manner. So check them out if you want to. Like I said, tell Paul if you call him that Not So Slim Jim sent you. And another one is we want to talk about, obviously, the big one, the big thing in the room. Yes, that's right. We finally have constitutional carry. So now, starting today, any person who is over the age of 21 years old who is able to legally carry a firearm can now carry a firearm holstered. And there's no definition on holstered. As long as it's holstered, could be belt and shoulder holster, could be in a holster in your purse. Well, concealed doesn't matter. It's holstered only really means if you're open carrying on your drop leg holster, it could be in your belt holster. It doesn't matter. You can now carry anywhere in the state of Texas, minus, you got to read the law, people, and you can look back at my video. I break it down for you on your person. Now, remember, there are going to be new signages you're going to see popping up today. You're going to have your 30-5 sign, which restricts the ability for a person who is not licensed to carry either concealed or openly into the business where it's at. Now, if you're never had a license to carry before, and today's your first day to go out Wild West pimp style and start carrying for the first time, remember, if you see a 30-5 sign, you cannot carry there. Also remember, technically, you're not supposed to carry into the post office. You can't carry onto federal property, so don't go out, you're trying to go onto a military post. Do not go into the restricted area police stations. You cannot go into courthouses if they are only a courthouse. If it is a mixed facility building, then you can go into any area that's not restricted. Now, some of these courthouses still try to say the whole courthouse is restricted. So be cautious and ask the people at the door. If they have metal detectors at the front door, more than likely you're probably not going to make it in there for a firearm. And if you're like Leon Valley or areas like that, they're probably going to arrest you. So be careful. But this is the day where this is going on. If anyone has any questions about the laws, the regulations, the signage, or anything, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Until then, y'all have a great day.